So I thought I would give a little insight into what it's like to be a teacher in 2022, 2021, 2022. I've told my husband many times this year that being a teacher feels harder this year than it did last year, which is confusing to him because this year has been more normal, right? Classes have returned. We don't have those long periods out anymore. Like they've transitioned back to shorter quarantines. Masks are gone. Kids are back in the classroom. Like, it doesn't necessarily make sense to people not in the classroom why it's harder this year than it was last year. But every teacher I know has said that they feel like this year is harder. So obviously it's going to be different no matter where you are. But in my example, last year, our school year, we did a couple of things differently. We taught hybrid, meaning we had kids that were remote and kids that were in the classroom. And so we were teaching and Zooming at the exact same time. So I was literally recording every single lesson, which meant that if a kid got quarantined, got sent home, was gone, even for non-COVID reasons, they could log in, they could watch the video, and they could make up what they missed in class. And there was not much loss of learning that happened from them being gone. That did not happen this year. We only have kids in the classroom. Our remote students are using an online program, not through us. So if a kid is gone for COVID or not for COVID, they are just left to notes to kind of catch up. Not surprisingly, that's way harder. It's much harder to catch up when you don't have a video. The other big difference was that last year, we had shortened class periods. So kids were not around each other as much. They weren't eating lunch in the building, so we didn't have to worry about that. But it gave teachers a lot of plan time in the afternoon. My afternoons were completely made up of figuring out how to alter my lessons to make them fit in the shorter class periods, how to teach things remotely and in person, and giving me time to work with students who were not in the building. By coming back to normal while things are still kind of chaotic, I've lost all of that plan time. So, for example, yesterday we gave a test. I had about 25 kids absent for that test. I teach about 130 students in the day, so to have 25 kids absent is about a class, almost a whole class, almost a fifth, 20% of my students were absent. And then those kids, they weren't for COVID, they were just other absences, but absences have been up this year, and all of those students had to make up those tests today. So my plan period was spent trying to identify the students who had to make up tests, deliver them to their study halls, give them all of the information they need. And it took me basically my entire plan period just to distribute the makeup test from people who were gone. COVID has forever changed what it means to be a teacher. That's just one example how. But so when teachers say this year is harder, they're not lying. There are new challenges that didn't exist that we now have to deal with.